Do you remember when you was a kid and you would find yourself daydreaming about what you wanted to be, what you wanted to do, and the dreams just felt so real. It felt like you was actually there experiencing it. All five senses. You could see it, you could hear it, you could taste it, you could feel it, you can even smell it. And you would just get lost. And then you would come back to reality like, where was I? What if I told you that God was giving you a preview of what it was you was going to be doing in your life? I remember when I was younger, I was always daydreaming. And actually, I used to think something was wrong with me because it was like my imagination was just overactive. It was like I saw the way I was going to live, I saw what I was going to do, I saw how I was going to feel. I seen it all. But then life started lifing. I became an adult with responsibilities, and therefore, those things that I used to think about when I was a kid, they was pushed to the side. I didn't have time. Now here it is, 20 something years later, and those very things that I used to think about as a kid, they're back. That's not a coincidence. Like I said, that was just God showing me a preview. I didn't even know what I was going to be in the world, but He was showing me a preview of what my life was. He was showing me a preview of what it is that He already had for me. I just had to come to the realization that it was my life that I was seeing and take the necessary steps to be able to walk into that life. What is it that you dream about? What is it that you are like super passionate about and you could just think about it, talk about it, do for hours? It doesn't feel like work. It just feels like this is what you are supposed to be doing. That right there, that's exactly what I want you to tap into because that is what God has for you for your life. You know how, what are one of the main questions that I know that we ask in life is, why am I here? And while I'm here, what am I supposed to be doing while I'm here? That's it. That is exactly what it is that you're supposed to be doing. But I don't know what happened where as life started lifing and we start having the responsibilities, the weight of the world on our shoulders, as somehow where when we was younger, it was like, this is obtainable. I can do this. I can see myself doing it. All of a sudden, it was like, what I look like? I'm not going to be able to do this. Here I go, daydreaming about this stuff again. Let me get back to reality. That is your reality. That is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be taking the necessary steps to bring what it what it has been that you've been imagining all these years into reality. I used to love to write. That's how I expressed myself. That's how I got these thoughts up out of my head, the million thoughts that keep running in my mind. That's how I put them down on paper. That's how I was able to sort through how I was feeling. And here it is 20 something years later. I'm still expressing myself through writing. When I was younger, I had always wanted to help people. I always wanted to be that person to be like, ooh, I just want to be able to help someone. And look at me, 20 something years later, that's exactly what it is that I'm doing. Now, I didn't expect to go through all the things that I went through, but it was necessary because I had to bump my head. I had to go through it all. I had to make the bad choices and decisions. I had to have the regrets. I had to I had to learn the lessons so I could be able to come up on here and be able to help y'all with everything that it is that I have learned from Life University. So here it is, like I said, 20 something years later, and here I am. Stop pushing that to the side. Stop thinking that what it is that you're thinking about is not attainable, because it is. I know you're frightened, you're scared, you like, how am I going to be able to even pull this off? But if God put it in you, He will see you through it. A man's gift makes room for him. You really truly think that God is going to tease you with your life? It's right there in front of you. You feel like you could just reach out and touch it for Him not to help you to be able to see it, to not help you to be able to, man, what I thought was unobtainable is actually right here in my face. Is actually possible. Get back to dreaming. All the things that you was thinking about when you was a child, it's time to bring them back. It's time to do one thing at a time to figure out how are you going to make those dreams become a reality. So many of us are going through life just doing what we feel like we have to do in order to be able to pay the bills. We're feeling so unfulfilled. You're like, this is not what I had planned for my life. I expected me to do this or that. I know God expected you to do what it is that He put in you. That's why you was always, as a young child, always imagining your life, always thinking about what it is that you was going to be, what it was you was going to be doing. So get back to that person. Take the time to sit down and figure out what it's going to take in order to make that dream, what it is that you imagine, into reality. What do they say? Nothing worth having comes easy. So yes, it's going to be opposition, going to be obstacles. It's not just going to come just like that. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to sacrifice. You might have to sacrifice some relationships. You definitely going to have to sacrifice time. But it's possible. With us, it's not. But with God, all things are possible. So this is your time right now. It all starts with you. It is time to come back to who you really truly are. And that was what God was showing you back then. Is who you truly was before everything happened in the world. Before you endured all the heartache, the pain, the disappointments, the anger. Just before you start trying to fit into what everybody else wanted you to be, you was trying to. But look, and you was trying to fit in, you always was like, wasn't you always feeling as if this don't feel right? It don't feel right. It feels as if I'm living somebody else's life. It feels as if I'm trying to mold myself and be what other people want me to be. You've always had it in you from day one, from the very beginning. That's why it's a tug of war within yourself, this conflict within yourself, because it's like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing something more than this. This is the whole reason why you're feeling unfulfilled. Because truth be told, God does everything with a purpose for a purpose. We are here because we all are supposed to be carrying out something. We all have a purpose. He assigned things to each one of us. And that's why we go through life just feeling unfulfilled, feeling as if we're not living the life that we were supposed to live. You know it, you feel it, but for whatever reason, you're just scared to go after it. So now is your time to do that. Get back to dreaming. I love y'all.